So I told you guys in the last video that I was gonna get something that would make this car run a 10 no matter what. Because I'm sick of running 1103, 1108, 1111, 1112, 1113, 1109, 1107. We've run 1106, 1114 once, 1121. Yeah, I'm sick of that. So what I got is this big box here from Torque Storm Billet Superchargers. If you don't know what a Torque Storm is, you're in for a surprise. Let's open it.
Camaro over on the opposite side.
It's not like a bolt on the top, screw bone supercharger. It's something really different. Oh look, more staples. There's a box in a box. Hang on.
Okay.
What's in this one? Oh my god. What the? There is so much in here. So they do send you a bigger crank pulley with grooves in the back for the alternator and a big groove for the supercharger pulley. So they give you this, a new crank pulley, belt for everything, right? Which we have alternator belts, so that's not a big deal. This is the hat for it. I'm not gonna take the plastic off because I wanna keep it fresh for now. Rubber hoses for everything. This is the mounting piece. We'll have to cut this to make it fit, but this will bolt right there. We have an electric water pump, so we gotta cut this out to fit the electric water pump. You can see these are the bolts where it bolts to the water pump. We'll have to notch this piece, but the supercharger should end up sitting like right here. And then all the hoses go to the center. But hoping this is the actual blower. Yes. Here it is. So, if you look at it, look how big this thing is. Look how big it is. Look at it. It looks like a turbo, right? Because it is. It's essentially, look at the back. This is the front side, a belt-driven turbocharger. It's really what it is. So you basically have a turbo on the backside, and then on the front, a belt to spin it instead of an exhaust manifold. So it's technically a supercharger in like the same way a ProCharge system is, but really, we're turbocharged. This is so freaking cool. I've never seen one of these in person. So it'll end up kind of sitting like right about that area, right about here. It'll sit here, and then we'll have to probably adjust and move stuff around. It'll blow into the top of the sniper. I also want to answer the question, why this, right? The issue is, any other system that would make more boost would make more power, okay? This block, at about 750 to 800 horsepower, will literally split in half. It'll break in half. It will blow up into two pieces. So the most that we can do, Dad, come here. What do you think about this?
It looks like something a girl would put on an S10.
Oh, shut the hell up.
Is this the part where we snap our fingers and it's on?
No.
No?
We can't snap our fingers on this one. It's gonna take us a long time.
We can't?
The reason I went with this system is because it would easily bolt on and not split our block in half. This should, at around 800 horsepower, these blocks are dangerous. It's an LA block, it'll blow up. So this should keep us hopefully under 800, maybe 750. We're hoping with this system on it, as opposed to like a big turbo or a blower, which would blow the motor up immediately. I'm hoping this is safer. So, and as you guys saw in one of the more recent videos, I put a Sniper 2 on. We want to make about 800 horse, right? Give or take. We want to be good for 800 horse. The Sniper 2 is only good for 550 as a blow through. It wouldn't work. So I'll explain why. I'll explain myself, because I have a reason for this. I did something I said I would never do. I'll show you. This is what we got. We got another Sniper 1. So here it is. We got another Sniper 1. I'll explain why I did this, because I don't want to do this either. I do not like the Sniper 1. I don't think they're good units. Long story short, this is the Super Sniper 1250. Good on a blow-through application, up to 1250 horsepower. Okay, I think it's got like 8 120-pound injectors or something absurd in it, okay? I don't like the Sniper 1s. I don't think they're good units. But when they came out with the Sniper 2, they were discontinuing the Sniper 1, okay? This kit is usually, I think, $2,300, right about. I got this for under $1,100. It was like 55% off on Holly's site. And it was either get $1,000 Sniper 1 that I might not like, or $1,000 carburetor. So I opted for this. We're gonna try this. Worst case scenario, this comes off and put a carburetor on, but we're gonna try the Sniper 1 again. I don't like it, but it was cheap, and that's it. That is my strategy to try to run a 10-second pass. Maybe even, honestly, it might run a 9-second pass. It probably will run a 9-second pass. So enough of that, let's put it on. Well, after some conversations with guys at Holley and further discussion just between me and my dad as to what we want to do, we bought some more stuff. I'll walk you through it. Long story short, we're going to redo the whole fuel system front to back. And I'll explain why as we go through the parts. So the first thing we got is a whole fuel cell. We're taking the whole tank out, and you're probably thinking, well, that's a lot of work. Why would you do that? Well, this is why. It has Dash 10 AN fittings for the outlet on it. And we're stepping up. We don't have the line with us or the fittings, but we're going to step up to Dash 8 line because the 3/8 fuel hose is sketchy. I don't want to lean the motor out and blow up a piston. So we got this 15-gallon fuel cell. This is a Holley aluminum fuel cell, and we got it with... So we have here, this is the rollover valve for the vent, which will go in one of these top caps. This unit is the new fuel gauge sending unit, which I don't know if you guys remember, my sending unit is half working, half not. So this will be really nice to have in. That just gets bolted in right there into the Holley cell. It bolts right up. So this will give us an accurate reading on the fuel gauge, which is nice. But the primary reason for all this stuff is we need this. We were thinking about like welding a bung onto the factory tank and doing all that, baffling it. It's just, for how much this cell cost and all this stuff cost, it's actually cheaper and easier to do it this way. So this is the route that we're going with it. And to go along with that, we had to get a lot of different, this is not all the fittings. We don't even have the fittings in the hose yet. This is everything without fittings and hose. But we had to get a new pre and post filter. So we got our, out of there, big boy Holley. We got two of these. One is a 10 micron, one's 100 for pre and post. See, this is the 10 micron filter. These will be in line now instead of those little dinky ones they give you with the Sniper. So that'll go in. And then this here is the new regulator with a boost reference on it that we aren't going to use because we're going to run 6 to 10 pounds. You don't need boost reference until you're in like the 12 to 15 usually. But we needed one that can flow enough fuel. So this has like a 10 AN in and an 8 AN return on it. So this will actually move enough fuel. So we're stepping up the regulator too. So we got to get this part. And then in here is probably the most important part out of all this stuff. This is the Holley. You can see how big this thing is compared to my hand. I believe they call it the Holley Dominator pump. This is, I think it's 180 GPH. It's good for up to 1,600 horsepower. So more than we need, but 1,200 boosted. We're going to make around the 800. So this requires 2 relays, because technically what this is 2 pumps side by side. So we ordered the other relay kit. We don't have it yet. We already have 1 relay in, so we need a second fuel pump relay. You can see it gets wired in 2 pumps separately. This is like the biggest fuel pump I've ever seen in my life. This is why we're upgrading all of this other crap that you see here, is to accommodate this. So you don't hurt this pump, we move enough fuel, and keep everything going. This is also important. So I'm just gonna crack it open for ease, but you can see it is a 323 gear kit for our rear end. So we actually do have to, it's a Yukon gear set. We actually do have to change the gearing setup. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, Styrofoam, my bad. In the car, because we ran the numbers and it's not gonna be good enough. On the current setup, we're gonna run out of gear at the top of the track by quite a bit. It's going to go up to like 6,500 RPM. These motors run out of power at like 58, 5,900. So 64 is not going to like it. Plus, with the 323 rear gear, we could probably go up another 5 or 10 miles per hour on the highway with the gear vendor on and everything. It's just better. It's just going to drive better. Oh, and up front, I didn't show you, we got new shoes. Fresh tires, just in case. We're going to put fresh tires on because I don't want to go out with more power on old tires and blow them off and get pissed off and have a bad day at the track. So I got brand new tires too in front, which they only get more expensive. I don't know what's wrong with the tire market at the moment, but it kind of pisses me off. Anyway, beside the point. Got same tires, 275 Mickey Thompson's, Pro Radials, whatever. So that's what we have here. Only thing we're missing right now is the fittings and the Dash 8 line. Once that is in, we're ready to go. We've done some machining on the plate to bolt the torque storm to that I'll show you here in a minute if we get it done today. If not, I'll probably show you tomorrow. We almost have it all mounted up, and honestly, just ready to go wiring wise. Put the pump in, put the filters in and go, but I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, so it's been a few weeks since I checked in, but as you can see, it is mounted to the car. It's on there. It fits barely. We got the, let me see if I can get a good angle. We got the crank pulley on. I mean, it fits barely, but it's on. This alternator needs to come out. We need a new one. This doesn't draw enough amps, or create rather enough amps. Got the Super Sniper on. It's on there, wired up, throttle's hooked up. She's ready to go. It's actually fully wired and ready to go. Only thing we need to do wiring wise is the second fuel pump that is in there's 2 fuel pumps in the fuel pump we bought. The second one needs a second relay system and a fuse system. We're gonna hook that up. But the reason this took us a while, let's see if you can get in there and see it, is because that bracket was flat. We had to get it milled and machined to clear the electric water pump. These kits are made for a mechanical water pump. We have an electric, but now it fits. So it's hooked up, crank pulley's on. Really all this needs to work is to be attached to the Sniper with the hat and the tubes they send you. And it needs the tensioner, the belt tensioner on. So this hose will get moved and be out of the way. But I mean, I guess the easy part's done. Now it's time for the hard part, and fuel system's got to come out to get upgraded to feed this baby enough fuel. So quick little update, but now's the hard part, so probably more updates to come. Been a couple weeks, little progress update. The entire fueling system, as you can see by this empty bulkhead, has been ripped out of the vehicle. Nothing has been done up here, but you can see inside of the car, I got the passenger seat out. It's all torn out. Wiring is all torn up to get the second fuel pump relay put in. So this is currently a work in progress that should hopefully be done by the time I leave here today, but it's taken us a long time to get to this point. And the trunk floor doesn't exist. Yeah. Trying to figure out how to get this fuel cell in here. It hasn't been an easy process, but the trunk floor had to go. When this is in, I'll give you an update. We're still not sure how to do this. So it's been a while, probably about a month since I updated you on this project. We had a lot of stuff come up that got in the way, but I have made a lot of progress. No, it's not ready yet. It's not done. We still do the fuel system, but the rest of it is pretty much done. So the first thing you'll notice is that with the actual supercharger itself, we have everything plumbed up on it. The hat is on. It just has to be tightened. Just got to put clamps on all this. I got all this cut to length here. Got all this aligned. Everything works. The blow off is on. It all works. It won't clear the hood, so we might go no hood for the first outing, but it's on. Got to tighten this down and get this to face the right way. And the biggest issue that we ran into was actually with the supercharger belts. So the belts wasn't tight, the tensioner wouldn't work, nothing wanted to work for us. But if you look at the tensioners, you can see we got 2 idlers in the system and a significantly longer belt than what was on there. The reasoning is TorqueStorm sent us half of a kit that was an older style, half that was the newer style. So it happens. They sent us the rest of the parts out. We got it fixed up. We got all the idlers in. The belt is on. Everything is on and done with the supercharger. And all we have to do is put clamps on this. And this is actually, and tighten this down here. This is done. The supercharger is on, done, ready to go. And you can see we had to put a new upper radiator hose in, flex hose that fits, 30-inch flex hose. That is on, that's tightened down, ready to go. You just got to add water to it, so that's good. And then if you move to this side of the car, as I said, we had to upgrade the alternator program. So you can see I had to make all new charge wiring to make sure we had two N0 gauge going all the way to the back of the car. Had to make a new ground wire because you need 2 gauge ground wire for this. But we were able to just play with some of the spacers on this alternator and get it to fit in. The one we had on was a 95 amp Power Master. This is the 215, pretty much the biggest unit they make. And it actually is in, fit, wired, tension, belt on, ready to go. Well, it's ready to turn over. So, and I had to put a new 300 amp fuse in here. That's in there, done, wired, ready to go. The new alternator is in. The supercharger is on. It is connected to the hat. It just needs some clamps on here. One thing needs to get tightened there, and it's all ready to turn over and work. A little bit of water, but we'll do that before fire up. And it's ready to go. That is literally all we need besides fuel. We have made virtually no progress in that area, so I'll just check you back into the back of the car quick. So unfortunately, this is still what it looks like. Still deciding how we're gonna mount this correctly. This is probably the biggest task of this whole project, has been mounting this. All it needs, I mean, literally, it is completely done. All it needs is some clamps and some stuff tightened in the front, water, and then fuel. But we are nowhere in terms of progress on the fuel. So that is the one and only holdup currently. So once I get this fuel system done, it's pretty much, I mean, it is literally ready to go. So even if we don't get it done before the snow falls, all the tracks here close in the next 3 weeks or so. If we don't get it done, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm probably going to take this car down to like Georgia or somewhere down south where the weather is good. We're going to run it. I'm going to run it this year. So if we can't even get this thing out this year, somewhere local, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'm probably going to take this thing somewhere where it can run. We have a lot of work and a lot of time into this. Just a lot of holdups along the way. Some that were just life related that got in the way with this. So we'll figure it out. But that's where we're at for right now. Hopefully the next time I check in with you, the car is running. That's my hope. The car is running. So I think in the last snippet that I recorded for this video, I said we wanted to have this thing done by the end of the year back in November. It's now almost Valentine's Day. It is February, but I do have progress to show you. What we accomplished during this time was creating this contraption with the fuel pump mounted here with the pre-filter, hoses going to the back of the cell, and all the wiring is done. It's really goofy, but once we get it in the car, I'll show you again, and hopefully it makes a lot more sense. But it looks ridiculous sitting on the bench, but I'll show you. It'll be in the car here soon. So I don't know if this will be more or less confusing, but this is what it looks like in the car. So basically what we ended up making was a steel frame to hold the fuel cell from underneath, and then we also mounted, the fuel pump to it on the side. And you can see we used factory mounting point locations, just used some angle iron, chromoly stuff that we had laying around, and we even got one tube that goes up to the frame that is then bolted in through the frame on the other side. But it's really goofy, but I'm hoping it'll work. You see the wires are here. This is our return hose that just needs to be connected. See, I just got to plug the wiring in, put a connector on. Hope you can see up there, we're going to our post filter to our pump from here over the rear end. And then the hoses are running all the way up to the front. Let me see if I can get you. There's a regulator up there. I'll get a shot from above when it's all done, but the hoses run all the way underneath the car. And this is kind of what took us, months to keep moving on this, but it's in the car and done. Just want to get you a better look at the finishing touches in the engine bay. You can see we have all these clamps on. Everything's tight. We made all of our vacuum leads here, one going to the blow-off to make sure that works, and then one going here to the regulator, which we mounted here. And you can see the fuel lines come out the front, underneath, and then down. Haven't really tied these up finally. We know for sure we got to do some heat wrapping by the exhaust, but whatever. Minor details. I mean, it looks sweet. This thing's ready to turn, too. Check this out. Look at that. Hopefully we'll see that thing turn in here in just a few minutes. Got the battery charger on it to make sure it's ready to spin. I got my sending unit wires just hooked up just so I can make sure the new sending unit actually works. Got the return hose done and the vent hose running out the back, but we are going to have to cover this at some point in time because the NHRA requires you to cover a fuel cell. Never build a hatchback. I'm learning that now because you have to make all these different things for the fuel cell to be legal. It's kind of a pain, but it is what it is. So nonetheless, as this thing sits now, I think we're ready for the first startup. Well, after a couple of fuel leaks and a water pump issue and an hour of chasing around the water pump issue, we're finally ready to run. So I don't know. I'm just going to jump in the thing and we're going to turn the key and see if it starts. But I'm hoping this is our first startup on our supercharged small block 87 Conquest. Hopefully. We'll see. All right. You ready? Please just work. Please just start up. All right. Ready? Fire in the hole. Got oil pressure. It's gonna idle kind of bad because it's in its learn mode still, but oil pressure, fuel says 0. I don't know why. Got volts. We're in business. Sniper 1 that's got to go through its little learn phase here first, but that's it. 70 pounds.
Yeah, this fuel might be really fast. Your idle come way down.
Yeah. What do you got?
You might have some more changes.
Okay. Some loose fittings, we think. Nothing major.
You got the water pump on or not?
Yeah. Look at the turbo. It's working. None of the belts are flying off. The alternator's spinning. The battery's charging. The fuel pump's pumping fuel. 60 pounds of fuel pressure. It's on. It works. It works. We've built a monster. This is 80% of car work. You're on the floor. It's starting to lean out. Temperatures are coming up. If it looks nice, I might, don't tell my dad, I might rev it up. Jesus, that's terrifying. Yeah, they should be, yeah. That's terrifying. I don't think our battery's charging. After I revved it up, the battery stopped charging. Might have popped the fuse on the alternator. I turned the fans on, water temp went down 40 degrees already. Can I rev it up one more time? Just one more time. Blew the fuse out on the alternator. It was 14 before that, so. Oh my God, my eyes are kind of burning. But we did it. It runs. I think when I revved it up, we blew out the fuse on the alternator because the battery voltage started going down. It went from 14 down to 12 and it was down to 11 before I shut it off. So we might have popped the fuse that we need to look at, but it runs. So next video you're gonna see is a couple finishing touches we got to do. My eyes are burning. A couple finishing touches we need to do to the car. Hood, cover on the fuel cell, steering rack replacement, stuff like that, and driving it. As you can see, if you look out the back door, it's not going anywhere right now. So that's going to be it for this video, but make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see the next video where we actually drive the car, make sure you subscribe. But this thing's going to be violent, so leave me alone.